We're going to build an attendance tracker in Excel that allows you to mark the attendance for any number of people over the course of an entire year. You'll be able to mark the attendance as yes, no, or excused, and the colors fill in automatically as well as the percentages on the left and the data bars next to them. Also, this tracker includes a dashboard where you can see the overall attendance of everyone, and you can even select a name from the drop-down list here to change the dynamic chart below. If this looks like something you want to build, then stick with me, and if you don't want to do that, then you can purchase the template using the link in the description. Other than that, I hope you're excited, and let's get to it. As always, you will be starting with a blank Excel workbook. Start by selecting every cell in the worksheet by clicking here. Then, right-click on any column header, select column width, change the width to 4, and click OK. Now, select column B, hold the Control key, and also select columns D, J, and K. Then right-click, select column width, change the width to 12, and click OK. Next, select column C, hold Control, and also select columns F, G, H, and M, N, O. Right-click, select column width, change the width to 6, and click OK. Awesome. Now go to View and uncheck grid lines. You won't be needing them. Your next move is to select all of the cells in the worksheet again and adjust the horizontal alignment to center and the vertical alignment to middle. Then click the down arrow on the Fill Color button and select More Colors. In the box that appears, select Custom, and you're going to enter a hex code for a specific color here. So, in the box next to hex, enter the following hex code. Hashtag F1, F3, F4. Then click OK. The next step is to select row 1, right-click on the row heading, select row height, change the height to 25, and click OK. Now with row 1 still selected, click the down arrow on the Fill Color button and select More Colors. In the box that appears, select Custom, and in the box next to hex, enter the following hex code. Hashtag 142038. Then click OK, and next change the font color to white, increase the font size to 14, and bold the text. Your worksheet structure is now set up and ready to go. So double-click on the Worksheet tab and rename it to Summary. Once you've done that, select cell B1 and type in Summary. Then select B3 through D3, remove the fill color by clicking here and select No Fill. Then click the down arrow next to the Borders button and select More Borders. For the color, select this gray color here. Then press the Outline and Inside buttons to apply the border and click OK. Now copy this range using Ctrl-C. Then select F3 and use Ctrl-V to paste. Select J3 and paste. Select M3 and paste. Select B5 and paste. And select F5 and paste. From here, select B5 through D5 and use the fill handle to copy the cells down to row 15. Now, this is important. This amount of space allows you to track the attendance for 10 people. If you want to track the attendance for more than 10, then extend this down further. One row for each person that you want to track the attendance for. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to leave it at this size. With that, your next step is to select F5 through H5 and use the fill handle to copy these cells down to row 15 or whatever row that you expanded the first range to. Finally, select cell L2 and use the fill handle to copy the background color over cell L3. Okay, the layout is really starting to come together. Let's start adding in some labels. Select cell B3 and type in total. Then select cell J3 and type in name. Select B5 next and type in name. Then select cell C5 and type in %. While you're at it, select C5 and D5 and merge these cells using this button in the ribbon. Then select columns B through D and change the horizontal alignment to left. Next, select B5 through D5, click the down arrow next to the fill button, and select the dark blue custom color that you created earlier. Also, change the font color to white, bold the text, and click the down arrow next to the borders button and select more borders. For the color, select the custom dark blue, then click outline, inside, and then OK. Great. Now select B3, bold the font, and add a light gray fill color. Then select J3, bold the font, and add a light gray fill color. Okay, this next part is very important. Select cell F5 and enter Y. Then select G5 and enter N, and select H5 and enter X. These are the 3 letters that you're going to use to mark the attendance for each person. If you don't like these letters, then change them to letters that you like. I'm using these 3 to represent yes, no, and excused. If you'd rather use like P for present, A for absent, and E for excused, then put those letters here instead. The beauty of this template is that you have a choice. Either way, once you've typed in your letters, select cell F5 and click the down arrow here and select more colors. Click on Custom and enter the following hex code. #D8F3EB. Then click OK and bold the font. Now select G5, click the down arrow here, select more colors, click on Custom, and enter the following hex code. FFCCDC. Then click OK and bold the font. Finally, select H5, click the down arrow here, select more colors, click on Custom, and enter the following hex code. #DDD4F7. Then click OK and bold the font. Awesome. At this point, you can go ahead and enter in a few sample names into the name section. This will make it easier to validate your formulas a little bit down the road. And once you have your names, it's time to create the monthly tracking sheets. Then you will come back to the summary page and finish it at the end. So your next step is to right-click on the Summary tab, select Move or Copy, move to End, check Create a Copy, and click OK. Then rename the new worksheet to Jan. And then change cell B1 to January. Next, you're going to select rows 2 and 3, right-click, and delete. Then select the Yes, No, Excused range, and use Ctrl-C to copy. Then scroll to the right, select cell AV3, and use Ctrl-V to paste. Then come back to the left, select columns F through O, right-click, and delete. Now select B3 through B13, copy, select F3, and paste. Then select column F and change the horizontal alignment back to center. And clear the contents by pressing Delete. Then select cell F3 and type in 1. Next, select F3 through F13 and use the fill handle to expand the range all the way down to column AJ. Awesome, looking good. Let's add in a few quick formulas that reference the summary page. Start by selecting the names and press Delete to clear the cells. Then select cell B4 and enter the following formula. Equals. Click on the Summary tab, select cell B6, and press Enter. Then just copy the formula down with the fill handle. Next, scroll to the right and select the letters and press Delete. Then select cell AL3 and enter the following formula. Equals. Click on the Summary tab, select cell F5, and press Enter. Then right-click on the fill handle, and right-clicking here is important, and drag the formula over to the other two cells and select Fill without formatting. This way you don't have to go back and recolor the cells. And with that, you are now ready to create the drop-down menus to make it easy to mark the attendance. So go ahead and select all of the attendance cells from column F all the way to column AJ. Then go to Data, Data Validation. In the box that appears, under Allow, select List. Then for the source, select the letters in AL through AN4. And then click OK. You can now enter the attendance very easily for each day, and I recommend that you add in a little bit of sample data like this. The next step is to add in the colors based on the selected letter. So begin by selecting the attendance cells from column F all the way down to column AJ once again. Then go to Home, Conditional Formatting, highlight Cell Rules, Equal To. Then select cell AL3 for the first selection. And for the format, click on the down arrow and select Custom Format. Under the Fill tab, click More Colors, click on Custom, and enter the following hex value. Hashtag D8F3EB. Then click OK, OK, and OK. Next, go to Conditional Formatting, highlight Cell Rules, Equal To, select cell AM3 this time for the selection, and for the format, click on the down arrow and select Custom Format. Under the Fill tab, click More Colors, click on Custom, and enter the following hex value. Hashtag FFCCDC. Then click OK, OK, and OK. Finally, go to Conditional Formatting, highlight Cell Rules, Equal To, select cell AN for the first selection, and for the format, click on the down arrow and select Custom Format. Under the Fill tab, click More Colors, click on Custom, and enter the following hex value. Hashtag DDD4F7. Then click OK, OK, and OK. You are now done with the conditional formatting. Nice. The next step is to calculate the attendance counts for each student. Start by selecting cell AL4 and enter the following formula. Equals, COUNTIF function, F4 through AJ4, then add a $sign before both column letters in the reference like so. Then move to the second argument, select AL3, and add a $sign before the row number. Then close parentheses and press Enter. Now you can use the fill handle to copy the formulas across and then down. Wonderful. Now let's calculate the percentage for each student. Scroll to the left, select cell D4, and enter the following formula. Equals, if function, count A function, select F4 through AJ4, close parentheses, equals, 0, next argument, 0, next argument, 1 minus AM4 divided by count A function, F4 through AJ4, close parentheses 2 times, and press enter. Then change the number format to %, and you can now use the fill handle to copy the formula down for all of the students. Your next step is to select cell C4 and enter the formula, equals, D4, and enter. Then copy this formula down with the fill handle as well. You do this because you are about to hide the percentages in column D by turning them into data bars, and you do that by selecting the percentages in column D, then go to Conditional Formatting, Data Bars, More Rules. Check the box next to Show Bar Only, then under Minimum, select Number. And for Maximum, select Number, and then below, enter 1. Now under Fill, select Gradient Fill, and for the color, select More Colors, click on Custom, and enter the hex value hashtag 35BC95. Then click OK. Now under Border, select Solid Border, and for the color, select the custom color that you just created. Finally, click on OK. You are now finished with the January worksheet. At this point, you're going to make 11 more copies of this worksheet and then rename each one accordingly. I will walk you through the first one. Right-click on the January tab and select Move or Copy. Select Move to End, check Create a Copy, and click OK. Rename the new sheet to FEB, then change the value in cell B1 to February. And delete any sample data that you might have entered so that you can start with a clean sheet. Once you've done that, just repeat this same process 10 more times until you have a sheet for every single month. After you've created copies for each month, you are ready to move back to the summary page. The first thing that you're going to do is calculate the totals for yes, no, and excused attendance. Start by selecting cell F6 and enter the following formula. Equals, sum function, type in Jan, DEC, or the 3 letters for your last month tab, and then exclamation point, AL4, close parentheses, and press enter. The formula adds together all of the numbers in cell AL4 across all of your month worksheets. And since it's a relative reference, you can use the fill handle to copy the formula over and then down. Awesome. Your next step is to calculate the overall percentages for each person in the list. Select cell D6 and enter the following formula. Equals, if function, sum function, F6 through H6, close parentheses, equals, 0, next argument, 0, next argument, 1 minus G6 divided by sum function, F6 through H6, close parentheses twice, and enter. Once you have the formula, change the number format to %, and then use the fill handle to copy the formula down for every student. Then select cell C6 and enter equals D6 and enter. And then copy the formula down with the fill handle. Let's add in those data bars now. Select the percentages in column D, and go to Conditional Formatting, Data Bars, More Rules. Check the box next to Show Bar Only, then under Minimum, select Number. And for Maximum, select Number, and below, enter 1. Then under Fill, select Gradient Fill. And for the color, select the green custom color. And under Border, select Solid Border. And for the color, select the custom green color, then click OK. Now, let's calculate the totals on top. Select cell F3 and enter the following formula. Equals sum function, select the yes numbers below, close parentheses, and press enter. Then copy the formula over with the fill handle. Next, select C6 through D6, use Ctrl-C to copy, select C3, and use Ctrl-V to paste. Now, this does mess up the border a little bit though, so select B3 through D3, click the down arrow here, select More Borders, click on Outline and Inside, and click OK. Awesome. Let's add some color to the numbers in F3 through H3. Select cell F3, then click the down arrow next to the font color button, and select the custom green color here. Also, bold the font. Next, select G3 and click the down arrow here, select More Colors, click on Custom, and enter the hex value, hashtag FF578B. Then click OK and bold the text. Now select H3, click the down arrow here, select More Colors, click on Custom, and enter the hex value, hashtag 9579E7. Then click OK and bold the text. Awesome. To save time later, select F3 through H3, then click the Format Painter tool here in the ribbon, and then select cell M3. Okay, your next formula is going to be the most difficult, so make sure that you get all of the details right. In cell M3, enter the following formula. Equals if function is blank function K3, then press F4 on your keyboard to make this an absolute reference. Close parentheses, next argument, select F3, and then next argument, index function, F6 through F15, and then put $ in front of the row numbers. Then for the next argument, enter the match function, K3, and make this an absolute reference. And then for the next argument, B6 through B15, and make this an absolute reference. And then next argument, 0, close parentheses 3 times, and press enter. And if your formula is not working, make sure that you double check all of the $ and references to make sure that everything is correct. And if you're curious what this formula is actually doing, basically it first checks to see if a value is selected in cell K3. If it's blank, then you get the total value from cell F3. However, if there is a selection, then you get back the value for the selected name using the index and match combination. And since you included the $ like I showed you, you can right-click on the fill handle and then drag the formula to the right and select Fill Without Formatting. And just like that, you're done with all 3 formulas. Now you just need to add a drop-down menu to cell K3. So select cell K3 and go to Data, Data Validation. Under Allow, select List, and under Source, select the names in the name column. Then click OK. Sweet. Now we just have one more formula to write and one more chart to create. Let's do the formula first. Select cell K6 and enter the following. Equals, quote, attendance record, space, dash, space, quote, ampersand, if function, is blank function, K3, next argument, quote, all, quote, next argument, K3, close parentheses, and enter. This formula generates a dynamic title that you will use for the chart here in a little bit. But first, you need to create the chart. Start by going to Insert, Bar or Column Chart, 2D Column. Then go to Format, Align, Snap to Grid. This is going to make it easier to resize and move the chart so that it aligns with the cells. Speaking of which, go ahead and move and resize the chart so that it covers the title and fits in the open space like this. Nice. Now for the data. Right-click on the chart and click Select Data. Then click on the Add button here. For the name, type in something like count. Then for the series values, select M3 through O3, and then click OK. Now for the horizontal axis labels, go ahead and click Edit. Select F5 through H5, and click OK, and then OK. Now we just need to clean up the chart a little bit. Select the title and enter equals in the formula bar. Then select cell K4 and press the down arrow 2 times to select cell K6 instead, and then press enter. Now the title of the chart will dynamically update whenever you select a name in cell K3. Your next step is to select the chart, click on the plus button, and uncheck grid lines. Then right-click on one of the data bars and select Format Data Series. Over on the right, click the data bar's icon and change the series overlap to 0. Also change the gap width to 75%. Then click the paint bucket icon and under Fill, select Solid Fill. And for the color, select the custom green color that you created earlier. Now click on the second data bar, change the color to pink, then select the last data bar and change the color to purple. For your last 2 steps, select the y-axis labels, increase the font size to 12, then select the x-axis labels, increase the font size to 12, and over on the right, under Line, select No Line. Then close the panel on the right and you are officially done with the attendance tracker template for Microsoft Excel. Thank you so much for building this with me, and if you like my teaching style and want to really learn and master Excel, then check out my Excel Launchpad course that's going to get you up to speed in 10 days or less. Honestly, it's really cool, so you should check it out, and I left a link in the description. That being said, subscribe if you learned something new, like this video if you had fun, and until next time, I will see you in the next Spreadsheet Life video.